Okay, now my name is Tomas Villaseca from Whitestack. I'm going to present you how to model EPA capabilities in VNF. First of all, as Guillermo said, we're going to delete all of your VMs that you installed OSM yesterday because we have problems with the capacity of the beam. So we're going to work now in a specific account of OSM of a VM that I'm going to show you. So you need to access. ¿Cuál es la dirección, Joris, de esto? ¿Cuál es la dirección del BIM? Eso me olvidé. Sí, espera, te voy a buscar. Sí, eso. So, okay, so you need to access this address. I don't know if it shows clearly there. It's 172.21.248.14. And then you need to access this instance of OSM with the same credentials that you use in the VIM, OSM Hackfest and your number. So we're going to use this, okay? Use the same number to avoid collisions with the other people. And the first thing that you need to do to configure this is to configure the VIM. The installation is already done. You just need to use it and configure the VIM as you did it in the installation session yesterday. Do you have the instructions to do that? It is in the first session slides. I will open it quickly. So, it's in the pad? Yes, yes. If you have the command in the other path, you can extract the information and do it manually. So I will use my account. Hackfest. I have so you need to go to BIM accounts, and here you need to create the new BIM. You need to enter the URL that is in the header path. Oh, I don't have it here. Okay. Gracias, Marco. Gracias. Okay, anyone is having problems with configuring the BIM? Are we ready with that? Yes? Okay. So, let's start with the session. I will try to be quick with this. Okay. This? Yes, it's here. You can extract the URL is that one, and yes, it's the same. It's the same. You need to pass the same credentials that you did yesterday, just in a specific OSM account, not in a VM of yours. Okay. So first of all, EPA, meaning Enhanced Placement Awareness, are a puede que tengamos problemas. Sí, pero eso puede ir a la con Pietro para ver si lo pueden actualizar ahí. Sí, el 14. Sí, ah, ya lo hizo. Ya, eso. Ya, gracias. Okay. EPA features are a group of features that improve performance in the servers. In this case, in the Vim, this might be the use of huge pages, dedicated CPUs or CPU affinity, NUMA node placement, PCI pass-through, and SRIOB interfaces. And all of these features can be used in OSM since the release 0. If your Vim supports already EPA, you don't need to do anything about it. You just need to build your descriptors as the information model described how to define the EPA. And here you can go to a reference guide for how to configure EPA on OpenStack. So the most important EPA examples that we use in OSM are huge pages. That is the allocation of big chunks of memory, of RAM, to avoid having too many entries for the CPU to look up. So when you have a program running using RAM, as an example, you might use pages of 4 bytes. With huge pages, you can use, I don't know, like 4 kilobytes. So you have different, you have less entries to look up for the CPU. If you have, you can have like 1,000 less pages to look in some cases. So that clearly improves the performance of looking at for the CPU that is looking at the memory. Also, we have a CPU pinning that binds a subset of CPUs or cores to a VM. In this case, in the broad case, it pings the CPUs to a process or to a thread. So in this case, the VM is using a specific CPU of the server. It's not sharing with other VMs. And this improves the performance by avoiding some degrading events like cache misses. That in this case is when the cache of the CPU is used by some process, and then other process uses it and deletes the cache of the CPU. So it has it halts and it has to grade it again. So in this case, that's the performance upgrade. We also have NUMA, that's a non-uniform memory access. In this case, you separate the memory, chunks of memory for specific CPUs to avoid decrease the performance when several processors trying to access different chunks of memory. So you specify which CPUs are going to use which sectors or locations of the memory. And the last one is SRIOB. And this allows to isolate some PCI Express resource. In the case of OSM, it's the network interfaces of the server. for manageability and performance reasons. So in this case, you connect direct. You can pin direct your VM directly to a network interface in the server instead of you skip a virtualization process there. So in this case, you're going to develop a small EPA example. We are going to use huge spaces, CPU pinning, and NUMA. SRIOB is going to be done in a later session. And in this case, you need to use the Hackfest basic VNFD from the session from the morning from Abu Bakr. So we are going to use that as the base, and you need to modify some things in the VNF. The changes are already highlighted in yellow, and I'm going to give a link for you to download the descriptors so you can match that. So please start by uploading the Hackfest basic VNFD, and after you have it on your OSM client, we are going to clone the VNFD. So this is another thing that you can do with the OSM UI. Once you have the VNF package loaded, just clone it, and we are going to edit that cloned package. So the biggest addition for this VNF is adding under the VDU a new field that's called guest EPA that has the CPU pinning policy, the huge pages. We said that the memory page size will be large, and we enable the NUMA node policy. With, in this case, with one node. It means that one processor will have allocated one section of the memory. So as we are short of time in this session, I ask you please to download the package that I link here. I will share it with you in the Etherpad. Okay, you can get it from there. And I will also copy the descriptor for the network service. Okay. So yes, it's already done. No, that was an exercise that you might find interesting for a new operation that you can do with the OSM GUI that I wanted to show you. But in honor of time, we are going to go this way. So yes, just upload this. Because if you clone this session, this package, you will still need to add some cloud init config, and you will still need to repackage it. So it's better to just use the package that I linked. So now about the network service. Okay. This might be faster if you already know how to compose like in the previous session that you composed a VNF. You can compose the network service. You might go to network service packages, click in compose a new network service, name that package, well, here is the composer that you already know. You have all the VNFs that you have already loaded in OSM, and the possibility to put connection points and virtual links. So in this case, you need to just drag and drop the Hackfest EPA VNF, just one of them, and create a BLD. Also drag and drop that BLD, name it management net, and you can fill all of these fields. These fields are already created on the package that I linked you. So the final step should be to link that. I think that you learned how to do that in the previous session. Just shift and left click the points that you want to link. And in this case, if you link the two of these, you will need to select a name for your connection point. In this case, we are going to name it VNF management. And the final scenario should look like this. So if you want to do it, you can create it with the composer and then compare it with the package. Any questions? Okay. So to deploy our network service, it's the same as the previous network services that you have already done. Just be careful to look at the Beam network name on your descriptor. Make sure that it's OSM external, as in this case. I think that the package already contains the network name as it is. So just launch it. I think that right now I'm going to delete all your previous VMs to free capacity of the Beam, but just launch it. Okay, did you manage to instantiate your network service? Anyone? Okay. Okay, so while we wait for your instances to be ready, we're going to see how to check if EPA is configured properly on OpenStack. We have two ways to see that. We can do it through the CLI. So first of all, we will need to, you don't need to do this. You need to access as an administrator to do this. So in your own personal OpenStack, you can check this. But the instructions are the following. You need to first list all the VMs. You do that by saying OpenStack server list. From those servers, you need to look at the one that you are going to check its properties. After that, you need to with this command OpenStack server show, you will see which flavor your VM is using, and then you can ask for information on your flavor using OpenStack flavor show. And in this case, its properties should look like this. I think that this is small, but it says hardware CPU policy, dedicated, CPU pinning, NUMA policy, large mem page size, large, and that's the way to do it in the CLI. And it's easier to do it in the UI. You just need to look at your tenant on OpenStack and look at the flavor that was created with your VM. Because when you use EPA, you always will create a new custom one with the specific metadata that makes that flavor different. That specifies all of the EPA that we're going to see in the next slide. So you look at the flavor of your new VM. This is also done with the administration privileges. So in this case, you won't be able to see, but it looks like this. So you look at the flavor, and in the list of flavors, it should set that there is additional metadata. In this case, management VM FLB1 is in this field says yes. In the rest of the field says no. And if we click on the metadata yes button, we see all of the things that was configured in the VNF descriptor. So all of the things that you specified for EPA in OSM, you can look at them by looking in the flavor of your VM created. And that's it. Have you managed to create the instances or not yet? Okay. Yes, let me check the bin to free some resources. If you have any question, feel free to ask, please, as I free these resources.